Are we going?
We're going.
One clap of the hands and it's on.
It's on, baby.
I love it, man. Well, can I start?
Yes.
Look at the
of
digs
course.
you got, man.
I know, thanks, right?
Came a long way, brother.
A long way since we did this last.
It was like 4 or 5 years, right?
4 years, episode number 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah, you're in the top 10, bro.
Well,
First
top
10,
10
first
just
10.
numerically, yeah.
Well, no, I'd say top 10 too.
Maybe
we'll push there.
how many have you done in total? Like 200 now?
We're bumping the doors. This will be 184.
So after this appearance, I will guarantee you I'm at least a top 50 podcast guest.
we'll
top 150.
We'll give you that.
We'll do 150.
We'll
What's up, man?
Dude, I am I don't know, bro. I'm blessed. We're here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is honestly, I'm not messing around. This is a cool spot. And I watch, this. I've been friends with you for so long. I watch the podcast every time you upload one.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just cool to see how it's grown and you're just hammering away. And it looks great, man. And we got Josh here in the house too.
Josh is on the whole Jamie setup, bro.
We got a flat screen TV
yeah,
going.
Yeah. So I mean, if we have any shit we need to talk or anything we need to verify,
we can verify on the fly.
Yeah.
I love it, man. This is awesome.
Because used to, I would just be like, I think this is right, and then someone would look at it on their phone, you know, and then we get some feedback in a minute, you know.
Oh, that's actually the worst thing for storytellers like me because I just make half of it up.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, well, wait a second. I've got the real thing here.
Yeah.
And then I just get out of there. Get out of there quick.
Well, dude, you have a lot of stuff going on.
Man, I think what I like to do now is I've got 2 hours free.
Okay.
So let's fill that up.
2 hours free, like
Every day.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
I got 2 hours of free time. Let's fill that up.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're the same way though. We've talked about that. I think I'm the kind of guy if I'm not doing something, I go kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can't sit still, man. My favorite still is your drunk gaming channel.
Yeah, that's probably what's funny about the gaming channel is that's probably been the most expensive hobby that I've taken up for no payoff at all.
Yeah.
Like none, other than my own enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because I'm bad at the games, I get blackout drunk, and 2 people watch it.
Dude, I'll just get on, looking at updates for clients or whatever, looking through my shit, and I'll see Jay's drinking, so I'll click it and watch it for at least a minute or 2.
It's terrible, man.
It's great, dude.
It's a complete shit show.
It's great.
I started doing that during COVID, man. When COVID hit, we all got the stimulus money. And at the time, on the radio station I worked for, we had the option to work from home. And if we chose to work from home, they'd give you all the equipment.
Yeah.
So, brother, I'm sitting at home bored out of my mind. Just went through some court stuff with the children, so I didn't have my girls as often as I did. So it was really just depressing. I was home alone. I had the studio, and I said, well, let's just play video games and get really drunk.
Yeah.
For maybe 5 people to enjoy, other than myself. But now we only do it on Tuesday nights.
Okay, so it's just once a week.
Yeah.
Once a week, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't afford that much alcohol.
Yeah.
Physically and financially. So now it's just 12 Beer Tuesday, man.
Well, you got it honed in.
You'd be shocked though how many people because from my perspective, I can't really see how many people's watching it. I can judge kind of if people are commenting or not, when it's live. But I'll go out to the club and there'll be people I've never met before that are like, dude, you played that video games getting drunk.
See, that's what you're known for now.
Yeah, that's my pinnacle.
Dude, so we've done a lot of shit together over the years, and I just want you to run through everything you're doing and what you've done too, because there's some people that, believe it or not, may not know you. This thing reaches a lot of areas now, a lot of weird different, you would think, have people in New York and then fucking Wyoming, just weird viewers and listeners that give me feedback. So, let's run through everything you have going on, I guess, and who you are.
Well, the coolest thing I ever did was I was on the 7th episode of this podcast 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
Yeah.
I grew up in Shreveport. I went to high school at Evangel. While I was at Evangel, I made rap songs about Calvary, which is the opposing Christian high school, and put them on our MySpace. I don't even believe your internet can find those. They're so old and in there. But
he's about to give it a try.
Where's Your Ring At was the most popular song I ever made, and that was, of course, we won the state championship, so I put a song out called Where's Your Ring At. Everybody at Evangel would put the songs on their profiles on MySpace, and some guy at Calvary would do the same. We had little Kendrick Lamar, Drake beef going on, but for God, it's 2 Christian schools. And a guy that worked at a radio station in Shreveport. His son went to Evangel. I was friends with the son, but I didn't know who his dad was. And at the time I was 15, I had applied to work at Brookshire's, didn't get the job. And this guy's dad, he said, "Dad, you got to hear these songs, dude. My friend's, he's making fun of Calvary. You got to hear them." Well, he liked the song so much, he got my information and offered me a job at 15. So I started on K94.5 when I was 15, and I'd, been there trucking along. I was there for 15 years. Damn. And I left 2 years ago.
That's a long stint in radio, bro.
Man, it's
crazy.
Like
a whole fucking career in radio.
I tell you, I give the best example of how long it is. When I started doing it, I was in high school and it was the coolest job ever. And people would say, and from that I got jobs in the clubs and doing the nightclub stuff. So I was always out and about, and people would say, "Man, that's the coolest job ever."
Yeah.
And now I'm still doing the exact same thing I've always done, and people will come up and go, "Man, you still do that?" It's like the most depressing feeling in the world. I get it all the time. I'm like, yeah, still doing it.
Yeah, still doing it, man.
So it went from being the coolest thing ever to being, but I still think it's cool personally. Like I think it's changed so much now. Radio certainly, like radio just at its absolute core is so different than what it was when I started in 2007. It's like a whole different universe now.
Yeah.
So there's still definitely, I think for me, and in a lot of radio DJs work in a market for 2 years and leave. It's a stepping stone business. So everyone's trying to get to like a top 15, top 20 market. So people don't really stay in market size 120, 136, whatever we are now in Shreveport, for that long. And I think for me, what that is just being in the market for so long, then eventually it's just kind of used to it.
I always had this question, like you got to meet a lot of people too, and interview a lot of people, and talk to a lot of people. Like
Shreveport is in such a cool space in the country because artists will travel through Shreveport. It's kind of a corridor to Dallas and to New Orleans, and even east. A lot of artists would drive through Shreveport, and K94.5 at the time, it was such a heritage station with really great connections in the music industry and with record labels. So they would say, "Hey, so and so's traveling through Shreveport. If you want to have them for like a listener lounge kind of event on Tuesday." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, let's do that."
How was that? Like, I guess what's the most like epic guest you've ever had?
Taylor Swift for sure.
You did, and it was early in her career.
Yeah,
because that was when she. Well, I know
she was still kind of no, she was just out of the country phase.
Okay,
it was kind of when she started doing top 40.
How was that?
Coolest celebrity I've ever met, easily. Well, like without question. I've met some total dicks.
Yeah.
People that you don't even think are dicks that are just total jerks. She couldn't have been any nicer. I mean, she was her dad was actually in the radio business, so she had a lot of artists with radio stations. It's not that personal. Like they'll shake your hand, hello, smile, take a picture, and then they're out of here. Taylor Swift will sit there and talk to you for 40 minutes, with nobody around, just you and her. She wants to know about your kids and about your radio station, about your city and stuff like that, and that's so rare. I don't know. I had a stint doing a tour once where I DJ'd for this tour. This was in the beginning of social media. Okay. So Vine was a thing.
Yeah, the video platform. Yeah.
Vine had hit YouTube to an extent, but there really wasn't like content creators. That wasn't a thing yet.
No, it was uploaded wild ass videos.
My favorite, the influencer, my favorite title ever. That didn't exist yet.
Dude, I think you're OG influencer of SBC.
I tell people all the time I was 10 years too late. Yeah. I would have had an OnlyFans.
You would have had a fucking TikTok channel. You would be doing all things.
Selling pictures of my feet left and right. Yeah. I tell people I did TikToks before anyone did TikToks. I didn't get it though. I wish I could go back and just kind of see where everything's moving. And I'll give you the best example. Not GeekCon, which I love, by the way. Great convention. MagCon was a international tour. Mm-hmm. It was a meet and greet convention. And the creator, his name's Bart. I don't know if he wants his last name out there, but he's from Shreveport. Great dude. He called me in 2012. And he said, "I got this idea for a convention. What we're going to do is we're going to get all these Vine stars, all these social media celebrities, and we're going to put them on tour. And we're going to take them to big arenas all across the world. And imagine like a huge arena with 20 step and repeats, like banners. Right. And each Vine star or social media celebrity is going to stand there for 3 hours in front of their step and repeat. And you're going to, if a green wristband, it's your turn. And you just go through a big line. Yeah. And you meet all these Vine stars." He told me, he gave me this whole pitch. This was at least a year before it actually happened. And I said, you're an idiot. It's not going to work. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I had a newborn. I said, that's just not going to work. There's no way anyone will pay money to meet somebody that posts a 10-second Vine.
Yeah.
Impossible.
And look at our life now.
Do you know the headliner was on that tour?
Who?
Shawn Mendes.
Holy shit.
He was the headliner.
Huh.
Cameron Dallas on that tour. Shreveport's own Aaron Carpenter was on that tour. He was an OG. It's kind of how he got his start, was being on that tour. But I turned him down. I said, it's not going to work. So the guy who ended up emceeing that tour went on to be ultra successful in the social media field because he was on that tour. And I've always just not quite seen the next thing, you know?
Do you open your door to all opportunity now?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't say no to nothing.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think I learned a lot of lessons early on because, I mean, it's like I said, and here I am 17 years later still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like there's just been, I can list 10 opportunities like that I didn't quite get and passed on. Yeah. And then they blew up and I got to watch it blow up.
Well, one thing you hadn't mentioned and what I wanted to bring up, and we've talked about this, we had a conversation about this, and you have something running now, is like independent journalism.
Yeah.
And that's something you're into now.
For sure.
And so has this been announced? You talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah, because I support everything there is. I guess everything our, not even country, but society has went through over the past 8-10 years.
Yeah.
Like I really, really, really support independent journalism because that's just really what separates us from just being pretty much spoon-fed information, accepting information for what it is and not questioning anything, right? And I'm not getting a political spat here talking about right, left, and all that shit. It's not about that shit for me. It's more like I want to know the truth or as close to the possible truth, you know.
Yeah, but you also like the opportunity to get your information wherever you want to get it from.
Yes.
If you don't want to be, like you said, you want to be
spoon-fed. I don't want to have one channel. I don't want to just watch Fox News, or I don't want to just watch CNN.
I think that's the beauty of where we're at now.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, it's, to be fair, I think it's a double-edged sword because now, like in 2024, I think it's borderline dangerous that every single person has a platform. I think it's healthy. I think it's a good thing. But I think, like, for instance, if somebody goes to a restaurant and they have a bad experience, the waitress maybe just had a really bad day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's me, dude. I really want the best for everyone, that especially that comes across this other side of the table. Like, if we're sitting here having conversations, because either I agree with what you're doing or I believe in you, know, or maybe I have some questions for you because no one else will give you the opportunity to speak.
That's
you know
true,
what I mean?
Man.
And that's something that it's just, gosh, dude, it's a fucking, it's an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think all in all, I'm just so excited for the next like 6-7 months with this company because it was created from nothing. That's what I was saying a second ago. Like I've had the benefit of piggybacking really off of big brands that are known.
Yeah.
So to create one from scratch and from nothing at all, it's scary. It's frightening.
It really is, man. But I'd say this. With all your years of experience, like one, we know you know how to entertain. It's very obvious you know how to communicate, and it's very obvious that you know how to put pen to paper. So I mean, like, what's the worry, bro? Like, you know, just double down on all the things you're good at.
I think everybody can relate to that in some way. It's like you look at like everything in your life lines up, and you know it, this, that, and this, that, and this, that. But taking that jump, dude,
it is scary, man.
And by the way, first podcast guest in the history of this podcast to bring their kids. They're sitting in the other room.
He wins the award for that, I believe.
And they're great, but I think for me that's the fear too. They're the reason I started the company. I wanted them to have something. For me, it's like I feel like I've just been treading water for years and years and years, and I wanted to say, you know, fuck it, let's just go for something else. And it's really just in thinking about them. But having said that, when it is for them, that the pressure's on, and I like the pressure. Don't get me wrong. Like I think we're in a fun spot. If I'm guest like 200 right now, I can't wait. Maybe I'll be guest like 400 on the podcast, and we can talk about where we're at down the road.
Yeah.
But
I mean, 4 years ago, this wasn't even an option. You know, so I mean, it's just crazy what time does, and a little bit of opportunity, and just being in the right place at the right time, or just finally saying, "Fuck it, I want to do this." You know.
Yeah. Right. We have I can announce this now. When is this coming out?
This will be out
2 weeks.
2 weeks from today.
So I got a podcast. I think the first episode might be out already. We have 2 podcasts that we're doing on KSBC. And one wants you to be a guest on that. We can just do a little tip for tat.
Let's fucking go.
Maybe the first one.
Let's fucking go.
I don't see. I was your 7th, but I don't think
you could hold me to 7. That's fine. I'm cool with that.
No. I don't think I can find 6 other people that want to talk to me.
Dude,
you might have to be a little earlier on mine. So that one's very Shreveport, very hyper local to Shreveport podcast.
Yeah.
The other one. Have I told you about the other one yet?
No, but I saw something earlier and I was like, oh God, I'm ready for this shit. All right, so let's go because I'm ready for this.
A few of my friends know about this one, and they don't like it. I'm going to be honest with you. No, this is either going to be the best podcast in the world, or it'll be the worst podcast in the world, and it'll only have 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay.
So we're going to do a podcast called The X's.
Okay.
A podcast experiment with me and the baby mama.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone has that same immediate reaction. What? It was actually her idea.
I like it. I like the idea.
And I said no.
I saw the title whenever you announced it, I believe, earlier, and I was like, what's this about? Is he going to get a bunch of exes in the room and argue? Like, what is this, Jerry Springer feels? What do we got going here?
That's in my head. It's so funny that you say that. Like, in my head, I want it to evolve into something where next week it's this person and this person hashing their shit out, dude. Every week
it would be fucking entertaining, dude.
Oh, my God.
Ex
just putting, look, everyone else. You're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I bet we're all guilty of it. We all put our shit out there we put our shit out there way too often. We're way too comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So you're already putting shit on Facebook. Just host a podcast with your ex and go to town on each other for an hour straight.
Yeah.
The contracts, though, are going to have to be thick.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of stuff said. But, yeah, we're doing it. There's a lot. So, listen, for me, I told you it was her idea, and I said no.
Oh, you said no?
I was like, no, hell no.
How did she persuade you?
She didn't. I just thought about it.
Oh.
I just kind of sat with me for a little bit. And it's not that I didn't think it was did I kick something? I might have kicked something. It wasn't that I didn't think it was a good idea. Like, immediately when she said it, I was like, I can understand why that could be cool to watch. But there's still some real life stuff going on here. Like, we're great. We're co-parenting fine.
Right.
We're very cordial. There's some stuff, though, that I might not want to talk about.
Right. Right.
There's some stuff that she might not want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I was like, to do a podcast with somebody, especially somebody that you have that type of history with, there's certain stuff that could come to light. And it's like, I don't know if we want that to happen. So that was really my only. So there's a couple things on the podcast that you probably do know about, and maybe some people out there know about that we're not going to bring up.
Okay.
We're not going to name names.
Not gonna go there for
the names are out there.
Good reasons.
For people that care about the names, they exist.
Yeah.
But I actually think that'll be a funnier way to do the podcast, where there's always this elusive, super celebrity lingering that destroyed my life and my family. But we'll never name him by name.
Try not to laugh as you're laughing. So.
No. Listen, it's funny now, dude. Are you kidding me? It's funny. 7 years ago, it wasn't funny at all.
Right.
Funny now. And I think that creates like a funny caveat with the podcast. Like we're going to allude to that situation a lot, I'm sure. But that's the other podcast. Yeah, we're doing 2 of them.
Have you thought about doing stand-up?
Never.
Why not? I think you'd be really fucking good, dude.
These people that do stand-up are so talented.
I know, but I think you would be really good, dude, because, look, I've sat across the table and had a lot of conversations that haven't been on this podcast with comedians, and I get the same feel when I talk to you. I think you should try it one day.
It's because I'm funny looking.
I think you should try it one day.
I'll tell you why. Because I've heard that.
You'd be great at crowd work.
Yeah, if a comedian wants me to pump their thing up, and maybe I get a laugh, maybe not, I would open for somebody all day just to get every.
I think you.
But like to look at especially comedians that are out right now, just the way they can get a joke from A to B. So I hear a great comedian and I laugh. Of course, the joke's funny.
Yeah.
But in a real deep sense, I think, how the fuck did you think of that? How did you write that joke?
There's so many styles, right? I think you'd be great at storytelling.
Yeah, but I don't have
any. And it's
any,
not even, dude. You really do though. You really.
I could do a whole stand-up special on my love life.
Well, that too.
Sure.
What makes real comedy is just, great stories, and punchlines are great, but dude. But either way, you're sitting here talking to me. I'm like, this motherfucker can do. You could do 5 minutes on a mic.
Maybe, and if I did, they'd probably boo me out. But I've like I said earlier, I don't ever say no to nothing now. I don't say no to anything.
He's open to all things.
I DJ'd my first school event the other day.
What? What was it?
Just some like school function.
What'd you do there? Like, what was it, a dance or something? Or?
No, it wasn't even a dance. They just needed like music played while all their kids played around on the playground.
You said, let's go.
I would have always said no to that. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm doing it. I've done I've taken so many gigs lately. I just do whatever.
What's
man.
the most interesting off-site like DJ gig you've had?
Ooh.
Maybe not directly correlated to radio.
I got a great one.
Oh, let's go.
This is the best event I've ever worked.
Okay.
Better than any I've done. This year I'll do my 800th wedding. This is better than any wedding. They stop getting fun at around wedding 8.
Oh, I can imagine. I hear a lot about weddings.
From about wedding 9 on, I mean, it's all the same. Ton of weddings, ton of nightclubs. I've done every Friday and Saturday night with the exception of 2 weekends. I've played somewhere in Shreveport Bossier since I was 16 years old. I've missed 2 weekends.
2 weekends.
In I'm not gonna.
And one of those weekends was with me, motherfucker, in New Orleans.
Yes, you're exactly right. And the other one, I was in Tennessee.
What's up?
I can't believe you remember that.
Why would I forget?
We tore that up in New Orleans,
a good time, man. A good time.
But even that one, I don't think that counts. I think I played on Friday night that weekend.
Oh shit. Okay.
You know, and then jerk down there. Or jerk. I don't know if we can say that. I jetted down there.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, we can. Wasn't that was for a?
I don't. It was a boutique or something.
Yeah, boutique.
It was like a grand
Little
opening or something. Yeah.
That's it.
But it was fun. We all had a good time.
That's funny, man. So my point is, I've done all these events, and nightclubs and weddings. There are definitely moments that stick out, but there ain't nothing like this. I got years ago. This is before I could grow a beard, so probably 12, 13, 14 years ago. I got asked to do a prom, and I'd never done school events. I don't like school events. I'm strictly against them. So I initially said, no, I'm out. And then she said, well, it's kind of a weird event. Can I call you? Her name's Chelsea. She's listening. Awesome. She said, we're doing a prom, and the pay was great. And it was like on a Monday night at like 3. It was like in the middle of the afternoon, so not night. It was in the middle of the day.
Right.
It wasn't a prom for high schools. It was a prom for the elderly at a nursing home.
Oh, dude, that is awesome.
It was the coolest event I've ever done, dude.
That's badass.
It was so cool. They were all decked out in prom gear. They came in. The whole nursing home was set for prom, and I had all the songs that they loved from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and believe it or not, women have not changed. Every night I go to the club, and there's going to be 5 women that come up and yell at me because they all want to hear this one certain song. And it was like that for all these older women. They were all so much fun, though. I can show you a picture later if you wanted it. It's the coolest night ever.
Yeah, I got to see this.
But so many women asked for this Elvis Presley song, and I was like, I've already played it. And then in my head, all I'm thinking is...
What song was it?
Oh, I had no clue.
Yeah.
Maybe Love Me Tender? I don't know. Maybe it was the one where he moves around a lot. Maybe they were in the mood, and they wanted to see him jamming.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that. It was honestly, I was there for. I even told them, I was like, I feel guilty for being paid to do this. It was so much fun.
That does sound badass, man.
It meant so much to them. That's why it was so cool.
Once in a lifetime opportunity relived, right?
Yes.
Most people live their whole lives only get that, especially for the people who look forward to that that one opportunity.
Think about this. Also, a lot of those people, maybe they don't even remember their prom.
Yeah.
They've seen pictures.
Or maybe they didn't get to go.
Maybe they didn't get to go.
Or maybe they didn't, who knows?
Maybe they went to war.
Maybe they didn't, or they didn't get fucking asked.
Yes. So it was cool. That's the coolest event I've ever done, not even close. Like nothing else even comes close.
Yeah. So that's...
Nightclubs, man, they all blend together. Weddings, to an extent, I've probably done like 30 or 40 weddings that I'll never forget. But a lot of them just kind of blend together.
Yeah.
But a nursing home prom, it's goated.
No, that's fucking awesome, man. That really is. That's cool. I had no idea. And that was like 12, 13 years ago?
Yeah, it was a long time.
Someone else needs to redo that. I'm sure people have done that since then, though. But yeah.
I think everyone should do it. It's a genius.
Yeah, dude.
And still doing the mud bugs. We got to get you to a game soon.
Yeah, I know. I need to bring the kids. Let's get together on that.
It's the coolest thing in Shreveport, man.
I want to go, for sure.
For little ones,
yeah.
Just dress as warm as you can. And then when you're done, put on 2 more layers. Like, there's no such thing as dressing too warm at a Mudbugs game. But this will be, let's see, this next season will be my 17th season with them.
Damn it, boy.
So just trucking along. I'll tell you, you want to know how old I am now? This season, a Mudbugs fan, at the end of the game, he came up to me. They play at the Hirsch Coliseum now.
Yeah.
They used to play at Century Tel Center at the time, Brookshire Grocery Arena.
Right.
This fan came up to me after the game. He said, he was hammered. He said, man, I had so much fun tonight. I hadn't been to a game since they played at the Century Tel Center.
Yeah.
And I said, man, you got to keep coming. Thank you for coming back. He said, I got to tell you something. You're way better than that little kid they used to have doing your job. You're way better. And I didn't have the heart to tell him, you know. He's not wrong. And that guy, I was pretty shitty back then.
It'll start somewhere, man.
Yeah. I was pretty shitty.
Dude, hockey's awesome. Do you ever go watch the Stars or anything?
I've never. I want to so bad. I have friends that go to all the games.
It's a good time, man. It's a good time. I think we're still like in year one of this one business. So as I grow it and scale it, we'll get to get out of town and take the kids to do more stuff. But yeah, all that stuff, man, is great. Like,
do you feel that a lot now? Like in year one, like you feel so rooted and grounded here. Like
you got to be.
You can't.
You got to be.
I got something for you. What about when you take a nap during the day? Do you ever do that?
No, dude. I ain't fucking taking a nap. No.
So
unless I do on accident, like I don't fucking plan on it.
Unless I
fucking fall asleep standing up.
Unless my body.
There's sometimes I'm sitting in traffic. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, fucking let me hit this Fit
Unless
Aid.
my body can't move on.
Look, I'm drinking caffeine just talking about it.
Dude, I got 2 of them right here, and that's not counting the other 3 I have in my pants. I come ready. That's why I wear cargo pants now. You'll love this then. When we started this company a couple months ago, prior to that, you know, doing the morning show on Q97.3, I get there at like 4:35 in the morning and get home at like 10:30, 11. So shit, I mean, it was pretty much in my system to go home and sleep for 2 hours. Yeah. I'd get home and I'd sleep for 2 hours and just do like a little reset and then go back to sleep probably at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And that was like, I'm telling you, it took me a minute, but like when I stopped doing that, my body was like revolting against me. You got to go. But it's funny, once the company started, I remember one day I was just dog-ass tired and I went to take that nap when I got home from work. And I was laying there, I was like, get up, you fucking idiot. Like, you got a company now. You can't sleep. So like you're dealing with that pressure too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm pretty like religious about making sure that I get the nutrients I need and trying to work out and getting enough water and not trying to drink too much anymore, you know, and but sleep's still one of my things that I'm not great at. I do get about 6 hours most nights, which is great for me. Yeah. I love 6 hours. 8 hours would be ideal, but 8 hours I feel like I'm losing productivity. For sure. So like I shoot for 6, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 3. Usually 6 is the baseline, or at least the goal.
I totally agree. I think 6 is like the perfect
for
number.
me.
Yeah.
Like some people argue against that, but look,
for sure,
I track everything. I have this Whoop thing. No, they're not paying me to say this or anything, but like I have this.
Not yet.
Yeah, and so it tracks my recovery based on working out and all that, and it seems to agree. Yes, I could get more, and yes, my levels will be higher, but I'm willing to sacrifice that right now. You know, it's in grind time.
For me, you might be the same way. For me, if I sleep more than 6, 7, like if I really get
up, tired as shit.
Yeah, I wake up and I just want to go back to bed. Like I'm not. It feels different.
It becomes like a state of hibernation at that point for me. Like I feel like I'm like the only time I ever may sleep.
Of hibernation.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like it's past the point of rest now. It becomes hibernation, like to the point where your body's almost like doesn't want to move. You almost feel like you're paralyzed. You know. It's just like a next state of deep sleep, and I don't ever get to that next level because when I do, it's like getting up is just fucking hard.
I got a theory on dreaming.
What's that?
You want to hear it? Do you dream? Like, how do you dream?
Here lately, for the past few years, I haven't been able to remember my dreams, and sometimes I get bits and pieces of them. But yeah.
So you rarely can remember dreams?
Very seldom. But I do have some that I relive.
Y'all are about. What's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened?
I'm not unplugged for the Matrix.
Oh, no, of course not. I just watched that movie for the first time, by the way.
The original?
All of them. Yeah, never seen it. It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
I watched John Wick, and then
You're like, I gotta watch
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, so we gotta watch the Matrix.
I didn't love the last one.
No, it was
like the one from like last year or 2 years ago.
The most recent one, yeah.
I didn't love that one. Did you like that one?
My favorite is the first one. Absolutely.
The first.
The way the first one ends is like.
Yes.
It didn't need a sequel.
The first one is so good.
Yeah.
I got a theory on dreams, man.
Okay.
This is gonna blow y'all's mind.
Good.
So I dream differently, and I didn't know this until a couple years ago. I had no clue until I was talking with this girl, and she's like really spiritual. This girl, she's like into the universe, and well, in this photo, the sunlight was reflecting directly off of a heart necklace right in the center of her chest. So that means
okay, got you.
Deeply spiritual.
Yeah.
And I was talking to her about my dreams. And she was asking me about my dreams. And I told her, I thought we all dreamed like this. I dream like it's just very intricate, and I remember every second of it. And it's always me. It's always, don't get mad at me when I tell you this theory, all right? I've never told anybody
I'm not
this.
going to get mad, bro. Let's
All
go.
right. So every night I dream, I never forget any of them. It's detailed dreams. It lasts 8, 10, 12 hours at a time in my head, even though it's probably only 2 or 3 hours. Maybe not even that long.
Maybe through 2 or 3 minutes.
I always dream through my perspective. It's never like I'm running through the woods and there's an animal chasing me and I wake up, or I'm never falling and I hit the ground and I wake up. It's never anything like that. It's always exact situations just like this. I'm looking at DJ. I'm looking at Josh. We're in a podcast room. It's always my perspective. It's always very real. I think that somehow I have unlocked this, like, I don't want to call it the Matrix, but it's like a connection to all the other versions of myself in the whole universe. And when I sleep, I can like see through their perspective.
And
Am I not the craziest person you've ever met?
No, it's not. That's not a bad. Look, it's not a bad theory. But
Yeah.
are you all those versions of you doing the exact same job?
No.
Okay.
It's like different
Scenarios.
It's like, well, this one thing. Well, so also in the universe, in the whole scale of the universe, right? Like there's an infinite amount of planets just like this, meaning if the number is truly infinite, that means there's infinite amounts of J's and DJs
Right.
and Josh's all in a
Right.
room right now. And some of those J's said, fuck, dude, don't tell him about your dreams. You're going to sound like an idiot.
Right.
And he didn't. Some did. I think if the number is truly infinite, then that is also true, that everything is happening all at once, everywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
So I think somehow I'm connected to this dude. Why else wouldn't I dream the way anybody else? Like, I'm seeing this shit. I'm living their life. None of my dreams are cool. They're all fucking stupid.
none of mine are ever. I've had some weird ass dreams, and I can remember them to this day because here lately, I don't think I'm getting enough REM to get those deep slated dreams. I will get bits and pieces of things. I'll remember some.
But
shit.
you never get so deep.
But I'm not getting so deep anymore. But I used to get into deep realms to where I'd be like, oh shit, I want to go back to sleep so I can finish that task.
You want to get right into that dream?
I'm going to get right back into it because I'll wake up and be like, fuck, I need to go back to sleep. And then maybe I can revisit it. And you never, sometimes, but then there's some dreams that I'll relive. But it was all like versions of like things I was going through in my life. Like I think deep rooted like insecurities. Like, because I was always about like fighting, even though I was never really great. I still always trained and fought. But for the longest time, I would dream about fighting and I couldn't win a fight. And I would throw a punch and it would never land.
Wow.
There was always a dream like that. Or like
you're throwing little pillow
or like
hands.
the dreams where they say when your teeth are falling out. Like I've had those.
Like
I've had the
stress.
dreams.
They say that's stress.
I've
right?
had dreams where I'm trying to hit people and it will not, like I'm strong, I'm working out hard, I'm hitting people it's amazing, hitting pads, doing great, and I go to hit a person and it's like a pillow.
That's crazy.
And I've had dreams to like where I'm falling and just continuing to fall. So I've had all those cookie cutter dreams people say.
Yeah.
And then I've had some dark dreams where like I did something and no one knows about it, and so detailed that I wake up and question if I did that thing in real life.
Yeah.
Especially when I do edibles.
Okay.
So
that maybe unlocks a little something.
Yes.
Something?
So like, I don't really fuck with a lot of edibles anymore. I will still occasionally smoke like THC. I will do some edibles like in very microdose like states, or like if I do like mushrooms or something extremely microdose. But anytime I went into like a deep edible state, I've scared myself. And it's not, I don't really think it's anything, I'm going to do anything bad. I'm unlocking something I really don't want to either. One, I've already surpassed and I don't ever want to open the door again to.
Right.
That previous version of myself or whatever that dark thing is that's living behind a closed door.
Yeah.
Like it's down there, it's chained, it's gone. I don't want to ever open it again. So.
Well, listen, I think it's important that I say I need to make it clear. Some people might think my dream take is a little fucking crazy, right?
No.
I've never done anything. I've never done anything outside of drink beer, ever. I do a lot of that though, so that could be a problem. But I think dreaming in general and the way your mind works, I think that's something that I don't even know if humans will ever fully get to the point where they comprehend what's going on up there. Like during a dream, during a trip, I've never done it, but what's that? I can't pronounce it. It starts with an A. It's the big trip.
Ayahuasca.
How do you say it? Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I mean, how in the world, listen, how can you and I go do ayahuasca?
Yeah.
How can we take that trip without knowing each other, without meeting each other, without talking about it? How can we come back and have similar experiences?
Yeah, that is weird.
How
that's
do we
weird.
see,
That's
how
weird.
can we see the same
Yeah.
characters?
You see some form of the same thing, whether it's DMT, ayahuasca, super, super heavy trips of mushrooms.
Yeah.
You all get the psychedelic experience, and you're looking at, an entity that's greater than everything, and then you come back and you realize, I am nothing. The universe is everything.
Yeah.
I need to be more grateful.
But tell me how if there's not something
There's
deeper
something.
going
There's
on
gotta be. There's gotta be.
on a purely in your head and maybe even a soul form like brain waves. I don't know how it all works. I'm no scientist. I know that if two random people can come out and perfectly describe, and I'm saying the word two to make it simple, but thousands and thousands of people have all said, I saw this person,
right,
this thing, this entity.
Right.
How can they see the same person? How's that even close to possible?
Are there any? Do we have any? Can we look and see if there's any studies on that, like DMT in relation to DMT and ayahuasca? Similar effects. Similar effects of DMT and ayahuasca.
I think
like similar visuals.
Well, now what's the difference between the two?
So that's another question. So DMT is a chemical form, but I don't know how to spell either.
Don't spell swastika. We don't want that result.
No, but the DMT is a chemical, and then ayahuasca is something that has to be done by, and you can only do it in certain states.
Yeah.
It has to be administered by a shaman.
Yes.
They make some type of brew and they give it to you, and typically it makes you shit and throw up on yourself too. So you left that part out.
That sounds like most of the alcohol I drink.
Yeah. But DMT you don't get all those horrible side effects. Well, it still is DMT, I guess, but.
Well, see, I think I need to go on something like this because, like I said, all of my dreams are so real and boring.
Yeah.
They're just real life situations. I'm driving to work. I'm clocking into work. There's never high risk, high reward. There's never jerk, wake up now kind of things. It's just I have the most boring dream life ever, and it freaks me out.
So what are similar entities seen by people tripping on DMT?
Yeah.
I do think there's something to that. Here's my thing. Have you ever looked into the Anunnaki and shit?
Anunnaki. Those are like aliens?
Yes.
Yeah.
But are they? Here's the thing.
Yeah,
we look at angels as
mystical beings.
This mystical being. Who's to say it is, but it's just in the form of something different from not of this world.
Yeah.
And we worship them as this when they used to worship them as deities, and then they worship them as gods, and maybe they're just part of our creation.
Anunnaki, isn't that what some people believe to be the original human race that created the human race? So
they believe that the god Anu visited this planet and took us and combined our DNA with a previous existing humanoid here and created what we have now. Or they bred with the whatever it was, the Neanderthal, whatever the hell it was.
Human hybrids.
Yeah. And then created what we have
I've read
now.
about that. They said there was wars and shit on Earth.
Well, there's something that's interesting to me. Nothing's impossible. I just see all possibilities because we don't have the answer to everything, right?
Listen, dude, human beings right now could not go to Egypt and build those pyramids. You can't do it. You can't build it to that perfection, that level of perfection.
That's what's insane.
With all of the equipment that you have today, you can't come close to the level of perfection.
Oh, you can't replicate that. And if you look at the Sphinx or whatever, you can tell that was predating that existing structure because they carved something else into that because you could tell that essentially was a animal head first and then carved into a human head.
That's crazy,
but so
man.
what is it saying here? So is there anything saying basically they all have seen the same entity?
Beings. 94% of reports they see beings.
Yeah. So some type of being.
Yeah.
But what does that say? That we just that's another thing. What part of the brain is it unlocking to where are you seeing something that you're trying to familiarize so it helps you cope with this trip? You know what I mean? Or are you seeing something you don't know, right?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Think about that.
it could be a human thing to do, to take something that you see to make it make sense to you, but every human brain is wired pretty similarly.
Where it's so
you're blowing my mind,
well,
man.
Dude, you think about it, it's one of those things that we don't know. They say that we only use X% of our brain, whatever that number is.
3.
Yeah, it's very low, and I'm sure he'll tell us that number next.
You ever watch the Y-Files on YouTube?
No.
You have to.
Oh, okay.
We just started talking about the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
That's where I heard about them.
That's
on this
a cool topic
channel.
because there's so many theories. None of this shit's proven, and it's not nixing Christianity or anything. It has nothing to do with that. It's just what created this, even if you call it God, could it be something else? That's just what we call it.
Yeah.
And does it create other planets? Like, is there really more universes? Is it only a universe? Are we all just puppet on the string? Are we ants in this fucking fish bowl? Like,
yeah. There's a great, I don't know who said the quote, but there's a great quote about that where it's basically saying that either we're alone or we're surrounded, and either way, it's equally terrifying.
It is.
It's pretty.
That's a good fucking point. I don't know who
thought.
said that, but yeah, that is 10%, or is it a myth? Now they're saying it's a myth.
It's a myth. We use 100% of our brains. Look at us.
Well, 100% of our brains shows that we use 100%. Okay, so we do. So we're at full potential.
I've never once felt like I used 100% of this sucker I got up there.
I feel like there's always a new part of it to harness.
Like
because every day you're constantly learning stuff, so it is hard for me to believe that we use 100%.
That's
or I guess if it is, it's not really. Is it a muscle? It's not a muscle, is it?
Yeah, your brain's a muscle.
Is it a muscle? Actually a muscle?
But you can't work it out.
Now we're getting into some weird questions.
This is a crazy.
This
is awesome.
We never know what direction.
I love this stuff, by the way. I don't believe we landed on the moon. We can have that argument.
It's not a muscle.
If you wanted to have the argument, we could have it.
I'm convinced that they shot that in a bunker
there you go. Perfect.
in North California,
We can
where
disagree.
Jared Leto now lives.
Oh, Bossier City's own.
No, he does.
Does he live in that bunker?
He bought a. Let's look at that now. So Jared, there you go.
That's what your brain is?
It's a bottle of fluid, man, full of neurons.
It's not a muscle?
Blood vessels, nerves, and neurons. That's it. So Jared Leto purchases studio where CIA used to shoot moon landing.
Yeah, man. Well, come on now. we didn't land. Like I will argue. That's
You
one of
think we
those.
did?
No.
I don't think we did either.
No chance.
Why have we not been back?
Look, we haven't been back. We haven't been back because we can't get there.
Secret
Human
Cold
beings
War
can't get
military
there.
compound in California, and some people have rumors to guess that this is where they shot the moon landing videos.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Shout
man.
out to Jared Leto from right here.
Bossier City has never been back. It's
Never
funny
been
when
back.
he won the Oscar, he even mispronounced Bossier. He gives a speech
You know
and
he
he
did that
says,
shit on purpose.
but he said like Bossier or something like
You
that.
know
I was
he-
like,
you
dude,
know-
you're from Bossier. What are you talking about?
You know he did that shit
Has
on
it
purpose.
been that long since you've been to Bossier that you know?
Man.
Oh yeah. Oh no, of course.
Yeah.
No, he went to school here. Yeah.
Well, we
It
can,
might
we
have
can
been
find
it
out
might
real
have been
quick.
very young school.
We can find out. Yeah, I mean, he's going super broad.
That's-
He's gonna fucking search this. Jared Leto is a search.
Jared Leto from Bossier City.
Yeah,
His Joker's the worst
you're
too.
gonna have to.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to type it in, man.
I think
have to go
I'm
specific.
fairly certain he went to some type of school.
I thought it was Bossier. I knew it was Bossier or Shreveport that he's physically from here. Still very vague. Emerson.
I actually think it was. Where's Emerson? He's just born here, huh?
Yeah, so that's why I mispronounced it.
Bossier. I forget. how I
Born
said it.
1971 in Bossier City.
Yeah, he hates us though.
Let's see, Carl.
Oh, Carl.
Huh.
Oh, he's passed. Okay, well,
Anyways, a
so
little bit of history on.
I like it, man. I actually like that you have that opportunity now.
Yeah.
And listen, no one really wants to hear me talk about me and shit I'm doing. I love talking about
dude.
this kind of.
Well, no, me too. Like, I wanted you to talk about what you're doing because
headspace.
people need to know.
appreciate it.
Like, fuck
Yeah.
that. Like, people need to know. A lot of people know you, and a lot of people don't know how passionate you are about sharing stories,
I think for me,
especially ones that aren't your own.
That's exactly that's so true, and that's kind of one thing I'm hoping we evolve to with it's the KSBC.com. But I want it because right now it's strictly local content, local news. But I want to get to the point like a Players Tribune. Have you read that?
No.
It's one of my favorite things in the world. It's these superstar professional athletes. They write the articles.
Okay.
It's so cool. So like a great athlete ahead of the big game, whatever the game
Yeah.
is, they write a big article about it. I want to open it up to that point. It's kind of like in the old days with newspapers, you know,
Yeah.
and you'd have the editorial columns. You have, but you could guess right and get submitted and get in. I want that. I want to just kind of open it up. And I think what's cool about what we're doing is it's 100% owned, controlled, LLC'd. It's all 100% local. It's just me, brother. I'm doing it out of my house.
Yeah.
But everyone else that's doing it exactly what we're doing, they are like none of them are owned locally. All of them have things that they can't do because somebody that lives in New York City tells them it's not important enough and it won't work.
You can do whatever
and it
you
won't
want.
get clicks.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever I want. I love that.
So those articles that everyone else doesn't want to write, you can do it.
It'd take me 5 minutes.
Yep.
It'd take me 5 minutes. Yesterday was cool. Like I could have never done this article. I wrote this article when this airs. It was probably a few weeks prior. I did this article. I was driving down the road yesterday, and I see a Cybertruck drove right past me. But it wasn't an ordinary Cybertruck. It was a wrapped Cybertruck. A local business bought a Cybertruck 4 years ago.
Yeah.
With the sole intention of wrapping it.
Yeah.
Imagine how cool that wrap job was for that guy. You know, he's doing Corollas all day.
Yeah, no shit.
The Cybertruck rolls in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But immediately, dude, 10 minutes later, I put the article up.
Right.
And I contacted the business owner. I got a quote from him. I could have never done that working for a corporation because that's a business.
Right.
They're not paying me.
Right.
So I can't.
You're not promoting them.
The closest I've ever gotten to losing my job is writing articles like that where there's a really cool event happening Saturday night. And I think it's cool and I support it. But I can't write an article about how cool it is because that event's not paying us money.
Yeah.
I hate that. To me, that's just disingenuous.
It's like just like those very, I'm not going to state any names of anything, but like those very high end publications that say you could be the top this or the top that, just pay us advertising fee.
You made it. You're 70 under 70.
Yeah.
If you want to be featured, pay us $700 a month.
70 under 70.
Oh, I hate it, dude. I'm so tired of those, man.
How about just put people on and not fucking charge them? And indirectly, you're going to make more money that way.
Here's a great idea. Why don't you actually list the top 3 best at each thing?
Yeah.
Not you're the top 3 if you agree to pay us some money, and then you'll get on the cover and you'll be featured. You're so right, dude. Yeah. I once won something, and I was so happy about winning it. I'm not gonna, just like you. I'm totally cool with not saying names today. On my podcast, I'm probably going to start saying names. I might get a lot of letters.
Dude, I don't give a shit. I'll say anything here, but like at the same time, I'm not going to bash anybody's business. They do what they want to do, you know.
Well,
I could just say I'm going to disagree with how people do things, that's not one single company doing things that way. It's just the way things have been done forever.
I'm not going to say their name because of that.
Right. I respect the business.
I totally respect the business.
Right.
I was case in point. I won an award, a prestigious award. It was a leg on a lamp.
Hell yeah.
I won a plaque. It wasn't a plaque. It was like a best. It was one of the few that only did one every year. You know, a lot of the local stuff, they'll do like top 4, top 5,
right,
which is still cool and an honor. This one only did one. I'd never won, and then I won, and it was like, wow, I won the best radio personality. I believe it was like 2017. To me, that was like a huge deal to me personally because I'd gotten 3rd, 4th, 5th, and never gotten first. I finally got first.
Yeah.
And they reached out to tell me that I won. And I was like, you would have thought I won a fucking Oscar, dude. I was so thrilled and happy about it. And then they said, well, we have the plaque for you. It's going to cost like $400. And I was like, wait a second. What? So to get this plaque, I have to pay you money?
Yeah.
I hate that. Maybe we're going to do a best of KSBC.
You should.
And we're just going to genuinely, with no money traded, we're going to do... But I would need to get a board, a bunch of people like-minded people.
Yeah, you got to get someone. Or
if it's just me
you
doing
could just
it,
vote. Fuck it, it's your company.
I could do that actually. Wait a second.
That's like some people give me grief for like, why don't you have this person on? Why don't you have this person on? I'm like, because I don't fucking want to.
Because I don't want them. I'll tell you what, best steak in Shreveport, Red Lobster. I'll fight anyone on this. It's the greatest steak I've ever had.
I do not believe you at all.
I
haven't had it, and I will so disagree with you.
Josh is about to kill me. Let me just clarify. I have been to Red Lobster and I didn't enjoy the steak.
Okay.
And I've been to Two John's, not lately, by the way, because my friend Josh is the chef there.
Josh is amazing, man.
Josh is the best.
Yeah.
He was deeply offended when I put this online that the best steak I ever had was at Red Lobster. I just want to state, for the record, I don't eat Two John steaks.
Yeah.
I go there and I go there on Fridays where they have a Friday.
Yeah, he's not
burger.
going to spend the $80.
He was so mad at me for saying that. And I was like, oh, wait a second, brother. Josh makes the best steak, I'm sure of it. I just haven't been in there. I haven't ate a steak in Two John's in probably 10 or 15 years. I went to Red Lobster many times. Love that place. Most of the time, the steak sucked. But I kept ordering it. But there was one time, years ago, I ordered a steak, and I'm telling you, the steak god himself was in the back making that sucker from scratch. It was the best steak I've ever had, ever. I'm not saying all the steaks are good, but I am saying the best
He's
steak.
just saying the best steak he's ever
The
had.
best one I ever had was served to me in a Red Lobster.
Okay. I could look. See, I was about to argue with you, but you. Now, okay, I understand.
learned my lesson that I have to be really careful of how I word that.
Yeah.
Because some people, the steaks suck. That's why
That's
they're
good.
closed.
That's great clickbait, though. Do you write all your articles like that? That's why you're so successful.
I'm a reasonably clickbaity person. Like, I understand the logistics and the analytics of a clickbait title, but what I used to tell people for sure when people cared what I had to say, like, if you clickbait, you still have to have a payoff. You can't just clickbait.
You can't just do that. Like, because there's a lot of times where I'll click on it and I'm like, that's a fucking reach, man.
Fuck you.
That's a reach.
I do that. I'm reading articles all the
I can
time.
see where you made that not controversial, or where you owned up to that little title you put in there. Yeah.
When our friend Pepito was announced that he was leaving, I wrote an article and I said Shreveport's most famous citizen is leaving, and people got mad at me for clickbaiting, and I'm like, look, I can make the argument that he is.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's all subjective.
I can make the argument. I'm
That's
not saying that I
subjective.
believe it with my whole heart.
Well, I mean, if you do a poll and say who's the most recognized individual, and you put 4 names,
Pepito, man.
and
Yeah, I
he's
can make the argument.
more probably going to be in those top 4.
I'm like, that's clickbait. I'm like, it's really not though, man. I could do some real clickbait shit.
That's the interesting thing about journalism too, is that someone's always going to have some shit to talk. And now that you're doing this on your own, you are going to be on the hook, I would say, like, for maybe getting some more backlash. Whereas if you were for a larger company, they would take the backlash for you.
You're so true. I think, honestly, when you make enough content, when you write enough articles, eventually you're going to get some slack somewhere, or flack. It's not slack. You don't get any slack.
No slack.
You get a lot of flack.
Yeah.
When in the past, though, I've definitely got my fair share, for sure. And I got rules. Like, I don't write about anything political, because while I do believe, when I say political, I don't share my political opinions or views.
Correct.
I think that's one of the dumbest things you can do in a position like mine, with a company where you're taking on advertisers and you want them to feel like their brand is featured on something that is not necessarily, could be even considered controversial.
Has a neutral. Yeah.
Neutral. That's exactly right. And so that's really my hard and fast rule, is I don't share anything political. And really, I don't give a fuck about politics in the first place. So it's not like it's killing me to bite my tongue.
You have no perspective anyways.
I've definitely gotten flack in the past. I think flack is a good thing, because I used to do this thing on Facebook I wish I was a better guest and I could give you an exact example. But I would put something on Facebook that I knew would stir shit up. And then I would just sit back, watch the world explode. And in my comments, 700 comments later, everyone's just fighting and bickering. But that just gave me 1,000 comments.
Yeah.
Same with an article. I have no issues as long as I don't put myself in a position to be left or right or center. Like, I want to be not even political. Like, I don't want to take sides.
Right. No sides at all. Yeah.
But
That's where it gets complicated, because someone will try to put you in a side indirectly, and then it's like, okay, at what point do I intervene and actually give my argument? You know, right?
Tough. I'll give you the best. I'll give you the best example right now. If somebody steals this idea, we're suing them. You and me. We're going to sue them. This is the coolest example right now I could give you of that kind of thing. Right now, I could write an article today, and it could be the easiest article I've ever written. The headline would be, "Do you believe 50 Cent will be a good fit for Shreveport?"
Yeah.
Or anything along those lines. It's something so polarizing. Then in the meat of the article, I can go for 500 words without making what I believe to be known.
Right.
Because it's not my job to be, this is what I think. It's my job to say 50 Cent, and it just lists all the facts.
Right.
This is what he's done. This is what he's doing. This is what he promised he's going to do. What do you think? Boom. You put that on Facebook. Oh, my God.
You haven't done that yet?
No,
What
I think I'm going to do that today.
Do it today. Do it today, because if you don't do it between now and then, someone's going to do it, or someone's going to see this come out and they're going to do it. You need to do it.
But think about it. The reason an article like that will work is because everyone's going to disagree and fight with each other.
Or agree. Everyone's going to have their opinion.
Yeah. Oh, no. And then they group up, and then they group up. And if you see it every day, you can go to Facebook right now and scroll, in Shreveport. You can scroll for 5 minutes.
It's so funny that people take sides with something they have nothing to do with. They never have any influence over. There's no monetary gain for them.
Yeah.
But we're tribal, man. We're tribal.
And that happens with everything.
We are tribal by nature. It's not a black and white thing. It's not a racial thing. It's not a spiritual thing. It's not a religion. It's just we're tribal.
For
sure. And it has nothing to do with, it's just like, if you put something out there, I love Nikes. Fuck you. I love Reeboks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just
exactly.
fucking happens. And it's literally like, what the fuck are you talking about? You have no investment in this at all. Why the fuck do you care so much?
Do you remember when Nike went through all the controversy with Colin Kaepernick? I mean, arguably one of the most polarizing issues of our time.
But it was so early on where it didn't have so much social media influence because it was so early on, I guess. I mean, it did at the time, but we've seen so much.
If it happened now, it would have been.
It wouldn't. There wouldn't be so many waves made. But yeah.
Let me show you my feet. Can I show you my feet?
Yeah, let's go.
So this Colin Kaepernick thing, Nike hits, and it goes nuts. First and foremost, the J's are on today, baby.
Yeah.
But underneath the J's, since I was 16 years old, are
Nike on the fucking foot.
Nike tats
On the foot. Anyways,
here we are.
So yeah, man, I think it's great what you're doing with the whole the whole media stuff, the whole journalist thing, everything you've done in radio. Everyone here knows you, and if they don't know you, they're gonna know you after today. Hopefully, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And abroad. Now, here's my question: if someone listens or watches this, and they try to approach you to leave this area,
I'm out of here. See ya.
Bullshit.
No, man.
You can't go.
I've had some really great. I'm not gonna name them.
I would venture to guess you've had some great offers.
Not so much lately. I think because I'm being dead serious. I'm worried now. I'm past it.
Right.
When I was like 24, 25, I had 2 newborns, 2 young girls, and I could not leave. Couldn't even consider leaving. And during that period, man, I had some of the coolest jobs offered on a platter. Take it, it's yours. I don't really get that anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that time has kind of passed, and I'm totally cool with that. I was fine with it back then. I'm fine with it now. I love Shreveport. I love being in Shreveport. You said a second ago that everyone knows me. And I've always argued with people about that because they really don't. Maybe if you know me.
I know you. You were like a celebrity, dude. We've been listening to Big Dog.
I think
when I was in high school, bro.
Yeah, I think.
I was like, Jay Whatley, man, who's this dude? He's young. How in the fuck did he get on the radio? What's going on? This dude is famous.
If you want to call it famous, though. If
you were to us?
Yeah.
You were to us?
It's the coolest and the weirdest.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest level of fame because it's humbling enough to know that if you go 30 minutes in any direction, no one knows or gives a fuck who you are.
Right.
So it's very humbling in that regard. But also, too, it's a very, very minor. It's more like, oh, yeah, I know you, you know? And that's cool. For me, I hate it when I go out somewhere and it's like, you know how weird Shreveport is, man.
Yeah.
It's like I went out to lunch the other day at Bojack's. Freaking love Bojack's, by the way.
Yeah, shout out.
I love it.
Shout out.
I went to lunch. And I went to lunch with my baby mama.
Okay.
And we went to talk about this podcast that we're doing together. It's the only reason we met. And by the way, I don't even have to explain why we went. If I want to be
grown ass man.
I can do whatever I fucking want to do. Yeah. I can go eat lunch with your wife tomorrow, and I don't give a shit. So I wouldn't point at you, DJ. I wouldn't do it to you.
Who's pointing to the
people out there. I'm telling you right now, I can do whatever I want. I don't need to answer. I shouldn't answer to anybody. I was eating lunch with her, the mother of my children, by the way. This just shows you how weird Shreveport is. I was there for maybe an hour and 15 minutes. One of my best friends in the world, he called me at 10 o'clock that night. No, we did dinner. It wasn't lunch. We did dinner because he called me pretty much at the end of our dinner.
Right. The story's already starting to get...
I had just gotten home. Yeah. My friend calls me and he goes, hey, is there something you want to fucking tell me? So one of my best friends says it. He's fucking with me. And I was like, what's going on, man? He said, do you care to explain to me why 20 people have texted me and asked me why you're eating with your baby mama? I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And he shows me screenshots, Snapchats, and texts. Think about that. That means there's that many people out and about that see me with her and think, I got to know what's going on. Yeah. They're all in business. It's who gives a shit?
That's why you have to start this podcast. There you go.
Yes. Now we can just put it all out there.
They want to fucking know.
The podcast is happening, man. Like I said, it's either going to be the greatest podcast ever or the worst podcast ever. But I do like the idea of exes in general coming on and hosting.
Dude, that would be fucking hilarious and also a shit show.
I think if we get past some personal stuff, I think we could get to the point where we do really fun things. I couldn't find many podcasts out there that involve 2 exes. Certainly exes that have the type of history she and I have. I think that's interesting. But imagine we could do a whole blind date podcast where she brings somebody in to get to know me, and I bring somebody in to get to know her. We're both single.
Yeah.
She and I. I think there's a lot of funny
there's
avenues that we can go there.
There's a lot of cool shit you can do. I like that. I'm not that creative. Like, I like that you're going the creative route with this. I know you're going to do one with local stuff, and you're going to do this one as creative. Dude, I applaud that. I think it's cool. And also, there's so many fucking podcasts out now. Like, you got to do your own thing, right?
Yeah. For sure.
For me, I just am going to stick to talking to people I'm interested in.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what I love about yours, and I've loved about yours. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything. I was the 7th guest. I've been a fan for a long time.
You're fucking there, man.
What I love about what you do is similar to so the local podcast we're doing is called Faces of Shreveport. And I had this idea a long time ago that wasn't.
So is this only Shreveport or is this Shreveport Bossier?
Shreveport Bossier, yeah. But Shreveport's just the overall for the analytics purposes.
Right. Yeah.
Shreveport is the what we've branded it.
Right.
But it's really an overarching Arklatex kind of thing, kind of feel. God, that would suck to limit it to only Shreveport.
I'm just your first pissed off comment. Why does this
What
only
the
say
hell?
Shreveport?
I'm from Bossier. You're canceled. I'm canceling you. I'm gonna tell my 300 Facebook friends to boycott you.
Hell yeah.
And they will. And they do. Sorry. I love what you do. It's what I want to do with. So Faces was an idea I had for a video series years and years ago, and I'll tell you how I came up with it. You've been in Shreveport for a long time, right?
Yes, I've been here my whole life. Not in this town, but in this area. So, yeah.
Do you remember South Park Mall?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
I remember when it was open, thriving.
Here you go.
At the end of its life.
Have we ever talked about this before? Ever? Have we ever had any conversation similar to this?
I don't think so.
Never.
So. Okay, no.
Here's how this idea came up. For videos, a video series long before a podcast idea. Because back then on the radio, podcasts were the devil. Like, you couldn't even think. If you're on the radio, you couldn't even think about doing a podcast.
We talked about that.
Yeah. That was from Fort Worth.
You were like, no.
Yeah.
I can't. I was like, well, that sucks. Fuck, I would.
They would fire you immediately. Yeah. Well, and if you could do it, the problem is the company you work for would own all of it.
Yeah, because whatever you signed and however you're working, yeah.
So they'd own every 100% of it. So anyways, South Park Mall. We're growing up. I grew up in the 90s. I was at South Park Mall all the time. There's one guy that I believe, we talked about Pepito earlier, I believe this guy is one of the most well-known guys in the history of Shreveport, but no one knows his name.
Is it? I'm not going to guess it. I was going to say,
Guess it.
No, I was going to guess, was it the old man that's always downtown with the cane? Because I never knew his name either.
He's on the list.
He's on the
His
list.
name's Johnny, by the way.
Okay.
The guy that goes, oh.
Yeah. It does that's him. Yeah.
Oh. No, this guy walked. He walked the mall at South Park Mall.
Okay.
He still walks the mall. Now he's in Pierre Bossier. His name's Dennis.
Okay.
If you see the guy, you'll know him immediately. I put a picture of him. No, a picture of him. I put it up on Facebook years ago, and I said, "You ain't from Shreveport if you don't know this guy." Just exploded, blew up, and I was like, "Well, that's so interesting that many people know Dennis the Mall Walker." Because he walks the mall every day and everyone's seen him all their life. That would be an interesting person to sit down and talk to for an hour.
That would be fucking very interesting.
But you do that too. Like, the guests that you have are really cool because
they don't have a celebrity status. Sometimes they do, but
no, that's
like you. I mean, look, dude, it took me like 3 months to get you booked with your busy schedule. I had to talk to your agent.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm a big deal. I got a few free car wash coupons. Okay, I'm not saying I'm a big deal, but
no, it's a great idea. It is a great idea.
I like the idea of taking interesting people in Shreveport and getting to know them deeper than. I know of this guy. Like, I want to really even there's, like you said, there's like Shreveport socialites.
Yeah.
We both know them. There's a ton of them. I'm not necessarily interested in them because we see them all the time. We know everything about them. I want Mickey the hot dog man to sit across from me and talk to me an hour about how he started selling wieners.
That's your boy.
Yeah, we believe we're cousins.
You got to line him up for sure. That dude has seen more fist fights than any other individual in this region, for sure.
Without question, man.
Street ones.
6 a.m. Phoenix Underground.
Fucking just brawls.
Coming out the elevator.
Shit show brawls.
Coming out the elevator and the sun's out.
Yeah.
The days.
He's probably had to knock the shit out of some people too. Probably had guns pulled on, no selling. He's probably got some good stories.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
But I just love the idea of talking. But like I said, you'll be on it too.
Dude, I'm in.
But you've done that. Like in Shreveport, there's really not another podcast that I can think of that has been doing it as long as you've been doing it. as consistently as you've been doing it. And I think that alone, you should be so proud of that.
Well, dude, I know the first 2 or 3 episodes I dropped, somebody walked up to me who I did not know, who knew me, which I was like, well, that's cool, and said, do not stop doing it. And I just fucking carried it with me, and I just said, every fucking week I'm going to do one. I wanted to start doing 2 a week. We're not there yet. Maybe we'll be there in the next couple months.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, running all the day jobs I have and actually trying to make money, because this doesn't make any money yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't care. I don't care, because I think that if I die tomorrow, look at all this.
Yeah.
Look at all this that's there. You know what I mean? Look at all that's there. My kids can say, that was my dad. Look at all these cool people he talked to. All those people can say, I got to share my story. So for me, that works. I'm gonna keep doing it. That's
awesome, man. I think, like I said, I think you should. I've seen so many podcasts pop up in Shreveport that fold after 5
Yeah,
episodes.
I mean, I see a lot of people, and people hit me up, and then people also. And look, this is a PSA for anyone. I'm not only restricted here. A lot of my listeners and watchers are on the East Coast, the West Coast, Texas. I have a lot of, for some reason, falls. It's weird where the analytics fall where this is taken. It's probably because I've had remote guests on for a time whenever COVID was shut down.
I love that too, though. That was so cool how you found a way to get through that COVID shit.
When I say larger guests, I mean guests not from here. So I do occasionally have people on who are not from here. This is not a hyper-local show, but this is a PSA. Do not fucking hit me up and ask to be on this fucking podcast to promote your business.
Yeah.
I will say no. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Wow.
And that's because that's not what this is built on. This is built on, now, I will say this. I've had people blindly refer people to me and say, I think this person's interested. You should check them out. I will 100% most of the time consider that, and then I will do my research and I'll talk to that person. I'll have them on. That has happened numerous occasions.
Okay.
But never has anyone hit me up and said, hey, I got a company. Can I be on your show? I immediately say, no, that's not. And I do that because you had the nerve to go and hit me up without researching my show at all,
right,
to promote your business. If you would even listen to 1 or 2 episodes, you realize that's not what I do here. So you're immediately disrespecting me and trying to use any reach I have on your behalf. And so my answer is no.
I respect that, though.
And it's not me being an asshole. It's just I've worked this hard, this long, and my team, shout out Josh. And before Josh, it was just me. Yeah. And I've worked this hard, this long to consistently put in all this effort and time. I'm not gonna just throw it away for you to make some money off some fucking.
Well, then the one reason your podcast is so great is because it's so real and genuine, and there's no bullshit fluff.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of weaker men and women, me probably included. Somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, promote my business." I'm like, "You got it." That's why you're the man and I'm not. But, I think that's a great thing.
And I will look, and I'm not against doing. I'm against. If I have advertisers here and there, I'm not against doing advertisers. But at the same time, I'm probably going to interview you and see if you're a good fit for me. And I've had people hit me up, "Hey man, can I run ads on your podcast?" And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, look, I don't think it's going to benefit you because my reach is not just here, and your business is just here.
Hey, listen, I think that's one of the coolest things you can do when you tell somebody that you genuinely like. I've had the conversation lately with this new company that I started. I've told friends, it's not going to help you to advertise with me yet. Maybe down the road, we'll talk about it.
Right.
But I feel like that's, not many people can do that.
Well,
not many people do that.
If this was my business, probably I'd be quicker. If I was making money off this and its main objective was only to generate revenue, then I would consider those things more and figure out how I could pinpoint. But if this was a business-driven podcast, I never would have grown it to its scale because I would just be focused on hyper-local because that's the only network I have, right?
Right.
So my goal with this is just to grow the network, grow this thing regional. Like I said, if you look at the analytics of the show, the audio streams and the video streams, it's wild. You're like, whoa, this is listened to in North Carolina, all down the South, mainly in the South and the Central United States. And then I have some California reach. And I think it's just from celebrities, not so much celebrities, more like Fight World people.
Yeah, people get on.
Like Jason Ellis was on a long time ago, grabbing a few of those.
Their community. Right. But think about this, man. Those people have probably done other podcasts. That shows you that you're doing something right, that they liked what you did with that guest, that guest turned them on to you, and they liked it so much that they're going to watch the next one you put up.
And
that's cool.
That's how I approached it initially, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get this guest. And I don't even care about the followers, but they have a little bit of network, so maybe I'll grab at least one of their networks.
Yeah.
And then I'll do it this way and this way and this way. Now I don't look at none of that shit. I just roll these things out and I just be me. And
that's cool.
And if it works, it works. If not, I mean, whatever, man. What are you gonna do? Cancel me?
Look,
you know what I mean? Like, fucking, I'm not fucking making any money here. You're not.
Go for it. Look,
I'm still gonna keep doing this shit.
Listen, I can tell you, I survived one cancellation. I don't
Yeah.
know how I survived it, but it happens. You just got to keep on trucking, man.
Keep doing it, man.
Keep on, and you've been doing it for a long time. You're a great friend, and I was pumped when you asked me to get on this thing today because like I said, I watch every episode. I love the one with Chase with Fatties. I love Fatties. 20 years.
Shout out.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But I love all your podcasts, and so it was cool that. How many guests have came on multiple times?
So I've had a couple repeats. Ben and Nate Edwards they like to argue over that spot.
Love that.
But hey, man, you're a repeat. And
It's kind of like on Saturday Night Live, like the 6-timer club, you know, people that have come on, they all have jackets and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going for that title.
Maybe I'll come up with some kind of maybe we'll get you a new hat.
Let's just talk about dreams. Can we delete the whole dream segment earlier? By the way, I'm freaking out now that people are going to think I'm psychopath.
No, dude,
I'm a nut job.
I think it's amazing.
But
Okay, well, no, we'll talk about this when we get off.
I think it's amazing. I think it's
I'm a
amazing.
nutcase.
Well, let's wrap this thing, bro.
Hey, wrap it up.
Always a pleasure. Any last plugs or anything you want to, where can they find your new media outlet?
I appreciate you letting me do that.
Yeah,
and
go for it.
It does mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
It's theksbc.com. Everything. We're the KSBC on Facebook as well. All of our podcasts and the other stuff we're going to be doing, it's going to be on both the site and the Facebook. So
Hell yeah.
exciting, baby. You got to love it.
Shout out, bro.
Ooh.